Meeting for. I want to welcome everyone to the Village of Lansing Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, November 7th, 2022. We're starting the meeting at 7:30 p.m. Our first order of business is to have a roll call. So Susan Ainsley.
Present.
Jeff Dobbin.
Present.
Carolyn Greenwald, seems to be late. And Ed O'Rourke.
Present.
And Ronnie Hardaway is here. Okay, the next, our next item on the agenda is I will open the public comment period. Any public who would like to speak tonight? Don Martell, step up and give us your name and address and let us know what you want.
Don Hartill, 96 Keeper Heights Road. I'd like to make a few comments. One is, it's really nice to see the sewer project actually digging. Surprisingly, it's Twin Glens Road, which was last. Apparently, there's some slight supply chain issues. Serious. I'm facing the same thing in my daytime job, so here we are. The one thing I did want to comment on was that there was a comment from the planning board that now that we have a sewer system coming in, this would be a great opportunity for affordable housing. Well, the village of Lansing has probably the largest inventory of affordable housing in terms of the apartments. And so the other part of that is that the village of Cuba Heights went along with this with the understanding that there would be a limited number of sewage connections. Affordable housing is not in that category. So one of the things that was a background agreement was that the lot size in that region would not change with the sewer. Unfortunately, I never got to the planning board to officiate that or make that happen, but that's my plan, is to do that. And so that would require a zoning change effectively to do that. But my intention is to keep it up. And again, thanks for going ahead with the sewer.
Oh, sorry.
To say a lot of things with respect to the lake. Septic tanks fail. But in our current environment, this is a much better. So thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Sorry, I'm late.
Carolyn. Anyone else here who would like to speak?
Yes.
Public comment? Hi, Lisa.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I just wanted to correct something. Don, it was at the last meeting that one of the residents came forward and suggested that perhaps with the introduction of sewer lines that the planning board should consider a different density for affordable housing. It was not the planning board that.
I misspoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you know that. And of course, you know that I also, as a resident, I had asked our code officer, because I am on Cayuga Heights Road and I own, well, as it turns out, a lot of land, about 2 acres that could possibly be subdivided, as it turns out, because of the frontage and the way it goes, to a couple of parcels, which, you know, it's like changing the game rules later. We particularly chose this area because it seemed to be fully developed for that section of town. But beyond that, trying to put my selfish needs aside, I am concerned. I mean, we have luckily some really nice trees in our area, old trees. And although I fully support our tree ordinance, because I just think trees are the answer, but you know, I think it comes at a price if we start subdividing, but it doesn't mean that if we should change the density, that there couldn't be some room for some creative ways to go. But I really think I just wanted to correct that impression that the planning board suggested that. It was not that. It was an issue raised by a resident who suggested affordable housing, which I truly also am on board with, but I'm also interested in home ownership. So that said, I'm done. Thank you.
Sorry, Lisa, I misspoke. I didn't say it was the planning board. I said notes associated with the planning board meeting.
Oh, sorry.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
So I'm the resident who spoke in favor of taking a pause before the planning board readjust the zoning. And my statement was misconstrued by Carla, who sent notes to the community party. So I sent a correction to Larry Beery, who also misconstrued the statements, but I didn't feel like having him send a third email out. So there was really not a focus on affordable housing at all. I was just saying a comprehensive plan and the lack of affordable housing generally in Tompkins County makes me want to pause before we automatically revert to a more restrictive zoning. And that was what I tried to express, and I think that if you listen to the comment, that's what I said, but obviously I didn't do it articulately because it was misconstrued at least twice. But I didn't hear what you said, so maybe you nailed it and knew exactly what I was talking about.
Effectively, I said that we should maintain the current zoning for that area without just 60,000 square foot lots minimum. That preserves forests, preserves lots of things. That was the pitch.
Thanks. But Lisa, Don, and Carol, clarifications. So I tend to agree. If there was ever a change in that area, there would probably be a lot of discussion and public hearings before we went forward anyway, to make sure we're doing the right thing. So, but I appreciate all of the input. Thanks, Don. Any other public comment for tonight? Hearing none, I'll invite a motion for us to close the public comment.
I so move.
Thank you, Carolyn. Second? I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, it's closed. Okay, the next topic for tonight is to approve our minutes from October 13th and 17th. You've received those minutes from Jody. Thank you, Jody.
There will need to be two separate resolutions since Dobbin was not at the 13th meeting.
Okay, Jeff was not there. Okay. Okay, I will move that we approve the draft minutes for October 13th.
I'll second.
Pat seconds. Any further discussion about those minutes? All those in favor of approving the October 13th minutes, draft minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that passes.
Abstention.
One abstention, sorry. One abstention, obviously. Okay. So I will now move the October 17th minutes, draft minutes for approval.
I second.
Thank you, Susan. Any discussion about the October 17th minutes, sorry? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the October 17th draft minutes, say aye. 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 That passes too. Okay, Jody, the forward delinquent village taxes to Tompkins County. We do this annually.
Yeah, we have 16 taxpayers have not paid their taxes totaling $10,019.06, plus 8% penalty of $801.53. Yes, so this happens every year. We turn over to Tompkins County to collect on the town and county bill. And then they'll reimburse us in the spring. So I need a resolution to forward the delinquent village taxes in the amount of $10,820.59 to Tompkins County.
$820.59. Okay. I will move that we forward our delinquent village taxes in the sum of $10,820.59 to Tompkins County.
I second.
Susan seconds. Is there any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So there is a certification that we just did this. Every trustee needs to sign here, and here is the list that goes along with it. So if you guys could all do that this evening, that would be fabulous.
Just sign
Yeah,
down here.
sign me up.
You don't have to be in any particular order.
Nope, it does not.
Good deal.
You all have to sign it.
Okay. Moving on, our next topic is to consider setting a public hearing for proposed local law H 2022, amendment to Village of Lansing Code for subdivision of land, and that was attached to our agenda. Did everyone have a chance to look at that? I will move that we consider setting the public hearing. I need a second.
I second.
Susan seconds. Okay, is there any discussion about this local law?
I can give a quick explanation if anyone would like one.
Would you like to know?
Sure, so this is just making some very clarifying changes to the law. One, removing conditional approval of a preliminary plat because New York State does not have a mechanism for conditional approval, just approval with conditions. So we thought, the planning board felt that the word conditional approval was causing some confusion with developers, so we just wanted to make everything as clear as possible. Also, clarifications that actions by the planning board should be taken within 62 days after the close of a public hearing. There was a developer earlier in the year where there was some discussion back and forth as to when that 62-day period began. So we wanted to clarify that, and that's in accordance with New York State law. Also, there's some clarifications on the time of submission, just to make that language read a little bit cleaner and neater for everybody. So those were the changes that were made.
Okay. I saw under section F, or paragraph F, number 4, prior to approval of the final plat, the planning board may require additional changes as a result of further study of the subdivision in a final form or as a result of new information obtained at the public hearing or otherwise. It seems like there has been confusion in the past over that at times too.
Yes.
So I was happy to see this. It's good. And also, if the final plat's not submitted within 6 months after the approval of the preliminary plat, the planning board may refuse to approve the final plat and require resubmission of the preliminary plat. So these are just things that have kind of popped up in the past, so I was happy to see this. So are there any other questions or discussions? Okay, then I will move that we set a public hearing for local law H at 7:35 at our, let's see,
November 21st.
November 21st meeting. I need a second.
Second.
Susan, second. Is there any discussion about that public hearing?
I'm sorry, what was the date proposed?
November 21st. That will be a Monday at 7:35 PM. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Passes. Thank you. Next topic is consider setting a public hearing for proposed local law I 2022, amendment to the Village of Lansing Code, Chapter 75, Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code Administration and Enforcement. I will move this for discussion. We need a second.
I second.
Okay, so we got a lot of information today from me and Natalie and Mike, so I hope you've all had a chance to look at that. I had gone through and highlighted the substantive changes that I saw I think that they're all good changes. We have more definitions, clear definitions. This one also has a section on operating permits, which will be a new type of inspection for our code enforcement and fire inspection. So I think it's a good thing. It's been needed for a time to bring us up and customize the state's version of the 1203 to our needs. Thanks to Natalie for going through that and doing that for us. It was gargantuan work. Maybe not in the scheme of the legal environment, but as far as the village is, it was quite a bit of work, I could tell. Did anyone have any questions about this law?
Do we normally get it like hours before the meeting where some of us don't have time to read it all, or?
I sent it to you with the agenda on Friday,
Yeah, but
and the updated one, did not come until today.
yeah,
And that was just because it came late and got requested and we didn't get the email until today, so. But there is a red line version, I think, that went out to you also today.
As part of the discussion, should we postpone the public hearing for that local law till our next meeting and give you all the chance to look at this document?
I think you can look at it.
I looked at it.
Set the public hearing, and then you can always change it if you find something.
Okay.
This also is in conformance with the state updating the 1203, and Mike Scott has asked that, I believe it needs to be enacted by the end of the year. So there's a bit of a tight time frame to get it passed. But all of the changes just conform to the new 1203 from New York State. We did add in under the operating permits, it permits some discretion from the village to add places to obtain occupancy permits, and at Michael Scott's request, we added hotels and motels to that. So it'll give him the authority in apartment complexes to inspect those types of facilities every year.
Right. I thought those were good additions also. And I will move, if there's no further discussion, I will move that we set a public hearing for local law I 2022 for November 21st at 7:40 PM.
I second.
Thank you, Carolyn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
need to abstain only because I only got 3/4 of the way through.
That's fine. Just be sure and read it. And any questions to the
I'll
next?
finish it tonight.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, our next topic, authorized transfer of ARPA funds from general to sewer in the amount of $186,973.79 per our budget. This is just to allow us to transfer, this is the second half of our ARPA funds, right?
Yep.
And this will be going toward the sewer.
Expansion
sewer
capital
expansion.
project.
Right.
So, yes, to authorize transfer of ARPA funds from the general fund to the sewer fund in the amount of $186,973.79 as per the budget for the sewer expansion capital project.
Excuse me, Jody, could you email me the agenda? That would help me to keep up with, because I can't figure out the details.
There's agenda right there on the table, right on the counter.
Do you want someone to move this, or?
I was about to move it.
Okay.
So I will move authorization of transfer of ARPA funds from general to sewer in the amount of $186,973.79 per budget.
I'll second it.
Pat seconds. Is there any discussion or questions about this? Seeing or hearing none? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it passes. Thank you. Okay, Jody, consider waiving penalties for N 1796 and N 1840.
Okay, so there were two requests to waive the late fees on the water accounts. Both have never been late before and are requesting a one-time courtesy waive. There has also been a request from Ithaca Apartment Management to waive the late waive the late fee for M 1656. They were late in both April and July. I told her that usually the board will do a one-time, if you're late one time, they'll do a one-time courtesy waive. But it's up to you whether you want to waive that also, since they have been late a couple times. So that's up to you.
This
Yeah, that's-
is the apartment where there was,
That's the same group. Previously, we did a one-time penalty for 20 of their other accounts back in March.
For 20?
There were 20 different accounts.
Oh.
And they blamed it on getting signed up, I think, with the online payment, but this one has had it for a while still.
no, I'm saying this was also the, is this also the complex where there were some issues with debris and other things, or nothing to do with that?
But usually, I mean, the precedents that you've set, if it's a one-time deal, you will normally waive it. I'm just pointing out that they've been late twice, so it's totally up to you on that one.
Any thoughts?
Well, I think if we have to, if we've made a precedent, you know, we've all decided as a board, we do a one-time. And these have been nearly 3 times,
They've been late twice.
late twice. Agreed. I'm inclined to say no. Because if we start doing it for one,
We set another precedent.
yeah,
Right.
exactly,
I agree.
I agree.
Susan?
agreed.
Okay, I agree with that too. So then I will move that we waive the penalties for accounts N 1796 and N 1840, and I didn't catch the other number, and reject the waiver for N 1586?
1656.
1656, I just didn't catch it fast enough, 1656.
I'll second.
Carolyn seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so our next topic is to discuss the Little Free Library liability approval. You saw the little library examples over against the wall, I guess. That's, and Natalie pretty much said that we're probably not liable. So I.
Bailey Insurance.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Bailey Insurance also approved. So I see that it's a win-win for us, as long as obviously, as long as the contents of those and their condition are maintained regularly. So I think it's a good program. I've always, places that I've gone that have had these out, not necessarily this program, but similar ones, even if it's in the neighborhood, they just kind of had a nice little quality to that area. And so we will be putting them in 2 parks. I think it was Dankert Park and Marion Hartill Park right now. Perhaps we'll have some more later, but just for right now, we'll start with these 2. So I will move that we approve the installation of the Little Free Library based upon the input from Bailey Insurance and Natalie.
And
I need a second.
I second.
Susan seconds. Any further discussion?
Just a question, what were the 2 parks, Dankert and,
Dankert Park and Marion Hartill.
oh, okay.
We won't know exactly where until we start. I think that John and his crew want to do the actual installation so that.
They are
can-
going to do the installation.
All right, did we know when approximately?
Well, they're ready to go, so as soon as they can get to it.
Just
Yeah.
a matter of resource
Yeah.
time then, okay.
Yeah, I also pointed out that all those benches are still sitting up there, and I asked them to get those installed also.
Okay, that's something that they can, hopefully can do before winter sets in. Okay, good. So any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor for approving the Little Free Library installation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it passes. Okay, the next one's a good topic. Discuss our video conferencing policies. I have those printed out here somewhere. And the discussion is that should we change what are the allowable instances of someone attending remotely. And this has come up because Jeff wasn't able to count toward quorum or vote when he was on a business trip. And originally, it was my understanding that we could not make changes, but I've done some research, and you actually can. We have that, it's within our power to say, yes, if it's a required business trip for one of our voting members, and they can attend remotely, where they're on screen, we can see their face and hear their voice, that would be a valid way of making quorum and receiving their votes. So I think that's a good idea. I found, and I definitely want to hear everyone's opinion.
Did you print out the current language and pass, is it in our packet?
No, you guys should have already all had this. I can make you copies.
No, I just want to, can you just read it?
Huh? The whole law?
It's the 3 reasons,
Huh?
the reasons section.
Oh, illness.
Oh,
Members of the public shall be physically present at any such meeting unless such member is unable to be physically present at any such meeting location due to extraordinary circumstances, which include disability, illness, caregiving responsibility, or, and this is where it falls under, any other significant or unexpected factors or events that precludes the member's physical attendance at such meetings. 2, a member of the public body do not have a right to attend meetings remotely, but may participate remotely via video conferencing only at the discretion of said public body, which would be up to the trustees.
yes.
3, these procedures shall be posted in the village website. 4, these procedures may be modified by resolution of the Village of Lansing Board of Trustees.
So what I had found, which I thought was good, I'll read it out to you, see if it's okay. The caregiving responsibilities, which was sub-item C, says caregiving responsibilities, or we would drop the comma or, and have a D there that says required business travel, comma, or, and then the last sub-bullet item would be E, and that would be any other significant or unexpected factor, event, et cetera. One sentence I saw that we probably should discuss, an example, the following shall not be deemed as extraordinary circumstances, vacation or delayed travel. Do we want to add that or just not even worry about that part of it?
Does that made my head go.
I mean, I prefer for us to have the flexibility to determine whether, significant or unexpected factors is vague in a way that's, helpful to us.
Yes.
Okay,
I think it's better to not specify.
I'll start saying what's not.
I mean, I don't even think, I want to put in the work thing, because we've had the question come up, but
Right.
we don't even need to technically, because we could just decide
Right.
that that's significant. It's significant or unexpected. So even if the work trip wasn't unexpected, you could think of someone's employment as being significant. But let's put it in, because why not? Let's dot our i's, but
I think it's a valid, because that's something that's going to come up regularly. It's not unexpected. If you're at work, there's a good chance you could have to go on business travel somewhere.
Okay, then you gotta put in, well, like when Susan was at NICOM, if she wanted to come in, are you gonna add that in too? I mean, I think.
no, it's just
adding a
significant.
That's village business, is it?
Yes.
You're saying,
Yeah, but I'm saying it's under
I would,
a D.
I think that we should interpret it generously towards voting.
As long as you have a quorum here,
Right,
I would.
that you need,
Want input from your board,
Okay.
right.
no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, if they're willing to zoom in, then why not let them vote? Why not let them be part of the meeting?
I agree.
They're making the effort to be there.
I thought I was going to be voting that night because I told you before, a few days
Yeah.
before, I even give you a heads up saying, and I'm not going to go to the dinner, and I'd rather vote or be in on it, so I just assumed I was going to be in. That's my interpretation of what I've read.
I have the same one.
And I think looking back, it was a fair interpretation, and I think we just need to clarify it now, sure. So that's fine. And I apologize, Jeff. I apologize for that. So, yeah, we can leave it, we'll be adding a D, required business travel, or we could say required business or personal travel.
Well, that would omit vacation. Is a vacation or required travel?
If your mother makes
I
it.
think you
It's
know,
not
anything,
Yeah, my mother-in-law is.
Yeah,
any other significant, I just leave that.
just not do anything and let us determine? Okay.
Because our goal is to let everybody participate.
Okay,
Isn't that the goal?
it is the goal.
So,
Most participation as possible. Okay, so we don't have to really change this, but let's put it on record that we do want to allow our members to vote. And if it's business travel, we'll just have to say yes. We might have to, at the beginning of the meetings, if someone is video conferencing in, we might have to state that because they're a voting member, they're on business travel, or we have decided that they could vote.
That's a good way to handle it.
That's not a big deal. The other thing I wanted to put in, as Jeff, you just mentioned, is to let Jody know within a number of hours or days before that meeting so that she can let us all know that you won't be, one of us won't, or two of us won't be there, and we can plan on this too. So do we want to add anything in the, like the second paragraph?
I don't think you need to.
You don't think so? But what is the timeline you needed to know?
You can let me know before the meeting. The only thing is you have to make sure that you have a quorum here right now.
Oh, yeah, the
So as
quorum
long
has
as
to be
you have a
here.
quorum here and you're coming in, I mean,
Okay.
But
but we all plan before.
Yeah.
We always say, Carolyn will tell you, oh, she's on vacation and I'm at NICOM and,
Okay.
you know, so we always know at the meeting before if we're gonna have a quorum or not.
But shouldn't there be a formal
There are
way to dialogue?
Some villages that have added into these procedures that a member who wishes to participate in a meeting by video conference must provide advance notice and justification for their absence to the extent possible to the appointed leadership of the public body. Basically what I assume you all would do anyway, but just kind of writing
We
it
might
into the
forget,
procedure.
or the information might have gotten lost, or the email didn't get sent, or, I mean, if we know that truly you need the information before the meeting, then we'll just leave it. Leave it.
Yeah, and we realize this only goes for what, 2 years, right, Natalie? 2024, so.
Lisa has a question.
Hi, Lisa.
Okay, so you're talking about your board. Luckily, we now have 5 members, thank heavens, because it was getting a little tense there for a bit. But I'm still not totally clear because we have a couple of members on the board who, you know, have dual places that they live, sort of, or go back and forth, and they're going to be really interested. So I'm thinking, what is a reasonable reason? I'm not quite hearing that yet.
It would be considered a significant event if they're not in town and they're at their second home, I guess. It's a matter of interpretation.
Okay, as long as that's true, because I think the main thing is luckily we now have a quorum we can count on. And that's the most important. And I think the rest is, even if people attend remotely and couldn't vote, they can still give their opinion, which is also crucial for the quorum that's there. But okay, that's what I just wanted to understand so that I can take that message back. Okay.
Okay.
But why don't we just establish a liberal interpretation right now of significant factors being an extended stay out of town by which you participate remotely as being appropriate for voting? I mean, why not? I mean.
Well, one of the things was, Ronnie, I said originally you said something about delayed travel.
That was when, that's basically COVID-19 related, when someone might have purchased a vacation package before COVID. For some reason, they could not take their travel.
But I mean, my gosh, given travel anywhere these days on an airline, you could be delayed.
That's what I thought.
I thought, yeah, if you get stuck in Florida, tough on you.
When I heard that, I'm thinking, when didn't somebody have a delay? I'm thinking, okay. I guess we're all covered. I mean, geez.
Yeah,
All right.
I did a little research, and that's the delayed travel was if they had bought a package, a vacation package, and
I
for some
see.
reason they were doing a makeup trip somewhere. I mean, it's still a vacation, so I didn't understand what the difference would be. A vacation is a vacation.
Well, you
But
know, what's interesting is that I think most of us take into consideration our obligation and try to plan things around the dates of our meetings. But, you know, life does get in the way. And so I was just, I'm hoping we can come up with something that's a little more accommodating to the way the world is going these days and people's needs, that's all. So that we can have people be more involved in our village governance and be able to participate at the same time.
Yeah, I at least see two here as mostly like kind of restricting it to where you just can't be in your home and decide you don't feel like coming to the meeting, so you're going to Zoom in. That wouldn't, in my mind, count as a significant or unexpected factor. Being out of town is obviously significant if you're unable to get into the actual building.
Right. And as Jody brought up, and I had that just kind of flown out my mind, that it's only for a couple of years, and all these things could change. I'm hoping down the road that the state open meetings law does change to reflect these video conferencing policies from now on, because technology, I mean, it's helped a lot. It's helped a lot of people to attend meetings and actually take on public service roles where they couldn't without video conferencing. So I think we should interpret it, as Carolyn said, liberally, and let people who are away for valid reasons vote. We still have to have quorum in the room, though. So
Absolutely.
we can show their attendance, but non-quorum, but at least we would hear their vote. The important thing to remember is the quorum is needed, especially on the Thursday noon meetings, because if we don't have a quorum, we cannot pay our bills.
When's the next one?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday,
The 17th.
yes.
Oh, I won't be here.
You aren't gone, you aren't here?
Okay.
I would also add one other thing that is kind of outside what we do, which has come up on the planning board a little bit lately, is developers who submit certain requests and then don't come to our meetings, even remotely. But I think we have been sort of kind of on the sidebar. We haven't really openly discussed this, but it is, I plan to bring up something that if we're going to have a large project with somebody who comes forward with a very big project, I think it would be very helpful if we also request that these people show up at least once in person so that we could meet them. And then afterwards, and I think that, you know, they could attend in Zoom because often they're from far away. But I think this is good. This is some of the practice we're seeing in business as well. But I think it's really important that people put forth the effort to at least come to us once in person. And I don't know whether we want to establish any policies kind of specifically or whether we can, but it's something that we've talked about behind the scenes as a possibility, because it's really hard when people just submit something on paper and we never hear from them or see them even remotely. But we're thinking of establishing some standards for that, just to let you know.
I think that that's a good idea, Lisa. It might be problematic for them to come in a particular meeting, but they could come at a later meeting as long as they know that I mean, it's just a matter of courtesy to come in and actually like you say, let us introduce themselves to us, to the boards, and so that we can basically get a gauge on their sincerity for their project. Sometimes it may be that the overall requester or the specific requester may be from out of state or out of the county and they can't come, but they could send a representative who could at least. So I think that that's a valid point, is to try to find a way of at least requesting that. And I let them know up front when something comes in, and Mike could probably start that conversation, is when it comes through Mike, say, the planning board is going to want to see you in person at least one of the early meetings. So plan on that so that they will trigger that thought in their head that they need to come in.
I'm not talking about minor projects, but we're talking about some of the bigger situations.
Yeah.
Like, I know that the mall, with the shops at Ithaca Mall, it really made a difference when we met with them in person. And then we went into COVID, but by then we had established some sort of relationship with them. So it made things go a little better, or a lot better, actually.
A lot better, I agree.
Besides COVID, have you ever not had someone show up? People always come, right, or send a representative?
No, we've had some people lately that haven't.
At the last meeting, the division on dark didn't show up.
Well, they withdrew theirs.
We
But
delayed
they
the
haven't showed
decision
up.
recently because they just kept not showing up, and we finally said, we have questions, we'd really like to hear from this person personally. And then they withdrew their application, as it turns out, but that really kind of even highlighted more what we'd sort of been thinking, gee, we really need to be considering what it is, how to establish a decent relationship for long-term projects. And luckily, for example, the Millcroft project, we were on a lot of remote, and lately not, and things have just gone better. It just helps the process. That's all.
Okay. It's a little bit beyond what our beginning discussion, but it's.
I know, I'm
it's good.
sorry to go
No,
off
no.
on a tangent, but I'm just.
No need to
letting you know.
apologize, Lisa. No, it's good information, and it's along the same lines. So if I'm reading the room right, we're going to leave this policy alone and interpret it liberally for future meetings. Is that pretty much? Okay. Okay. Is there anything that we're missing, Jody? Last minute things? Oh, I don't know. We do have one. So you saw the email from John Courtney this afternoon that they're securing an easement on a property that would allow, this actually is to allow a new sewer path for the potential Uptown Road development. And all of that, I believe the paperwork is in process. Have we received everything yet? I think we still have one piece, right?
It was signed by an agent, and we're looking for authority for the agent to sign on the
Okay.
LLC's behalf.
Okay. So basically, it's just to allow us to put the sewer path within village boundaries, so we're not going through the town of Ithaca into the Village of Cayuga Heights wastewater treatment plant. This pipe would run, this sewer line would run within the village and connect within village sewer lines, so we can control the installation and the maintenance, kind of controlling our own future with that piece. John has been working with Jerry Dietz and the properties to secure that, and so we're really close. And John wanted to have me sign that as soon as all of the information is ready, but the trustees would need to allow me to sign that once we get the clear from, or the go-ahead from Natalie, once she's made sure that all of our documentation is correct. So I will move that you allow me to sign I guess we call it.
Uptown Road easement?
Uptown Road sewer easement documents as soon as they are available to me to sign, and this would help get things.
I second.
Susan seconds. Is there any other discussion or questions? I can't answer all of the specific technical questions or engineering questions, but you can bring those if you're interested in the project and you want to know what's going on. John's kind of let us know, usually at our Thursday staff meetings, what's going on with that, and we're just about at the end, and it's a big win. And John, and I assume Natalie's been involved in this to get it done, so I really appreciate it. So if there's no discussion, I will move that you allow me to sign it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you all.
Excuse me, Ronnie, that would be signing what?
It is, we're signing the easement contract with the property owners for a sewer easement for sewer line on Uptown Road.
Thank you.
And so, anything else, Joe? Do you think we're done? Okay. So for mayor's comments, the only comment I have is tomorrow's voting day. Everyone, if you haven't voted already, I voted early, be sure and go vote. Find out where your polling place is and go vote. And that's all I have is, Carolyn, do you have anything?
Adam's having hip replacement surgery on this Thursday, so depending on how he's doing, maybe I'll video conference in next Thursday to the noon meeting. I'll let you know.
I think that that's,
Yeah, video in for noon,
She's out of town,
out.
okay?
and he can never make the Thursday meeting. Can you this week
I
or
can,
next week?
next week, which is the 17th,
Yes,
17.
I can make it, but I have to leave like at 10 of 1, because I have a 1 o'clock meeting,
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
we start at
See
noon.
how he's feeling.
so I can be here.
I'm planning on being
Thank you.
home for the week, but
Yeah, I understand.
we'll see.
Yeah, phone in, as long as we've got 3 for quorum, we
I
can,
probably want to leave the house, but I'm going to reserve the right to not.
you might be wanting to leave the house.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me use a room here, I can video conference into my 1 o'clock and be a little bit late if needed also,
You can use my office.
so I can pull that off easily then.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
Or it'll be incentive to get the meeting over with.
Yeah,
That's true, too.
All right, I'll be here the
you wanna pay
17th
for
at by
quorum.
noon.
And,
Okay.
yeah,
But just in case, Jeff, if you think you need to do that, you're welcome to go back in the office to close the door and
Thank you.
he's having hip surgery, you said?
Hip replacement?
hip replacement.
Yeah.
Somebody gotta come in and get a handicap sticker from me?
He's going to need a handicap sticker, yeah.
So you're getting,
He's one right now, I don't know, can't believe he's hobbling around town.
is it getting one?
He's already gotten one. He
Okay,
actually
this is the second
go
one.
into it, but it did not work well, but now he's getting the other side.
Okay. Good luck.
good luck.
That's, yeah, that's right.
Says Ronnie.
Yeah. I've been through that with a certain person that I know, too. It's rough. But if this is the second one, he knows what to expect, and it just,
Last time we went to a fancy doctor, did a terrible job, but he recouped at his parents' house, which was nice.
interesting.
The offer only stood for one hip, though.
What'd you say?
The offer only stood for one hip, not the second.
No, it's just fancy doctors are a disaster, might as well go with like local tried and true, so we just decided it wasn't worth it.
Who's your doctor?
Don't know.
All right. Let us know if you need anything.
Town, I don't know. But, okay, yeah, I think we'll be fine, I just,
Okay.
we'll see how things are on Thursday.
Well, wish Adam good luck for us. Susan, do you have anything?
Nothing, no.
Okay. Natalie, have we covered everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Jody? Pat?
No, just again, I'll reiterate what Don said. Thanks for the sewer vote, because they've already started down our road. It's a lot of heavy trucks go down. They haven't got to they've started from the other end, right, Don?
Yeah.
So,
So they're moving
One of
up
the last-
toward Keg Heights Road.
yeah, so we'll be one of the last, but it's a lot of traffic.
They'll
going on.
learn all their mistakes by then, it'll be a smooth.
But I hope. No, they've come a long way. My husband was down there the other day, and I think he talked to you, Don, and they had a big thing in the ground, so they're really working.
The pump,
Oh, the pump, that's right.
is in place.
Oh, great.
They run into a little more rock. They've got a big
Yeah, that's,
excavator with a big.
A lot of heavy movement going down.
that's a common issue in this area. Just like, oh, there's more rock down there than we thought there was.
Well, apparently when we heard them, it was a surprise, but they said that they came from, you got the message.
Yes, I
from
did.
The village.
Yeah.
That they had other problems, other places, so they could start there,
Right.
Twin Glen, so.
I was glad to see that they were staying busy, and just, even if they have to make, it's like a transcontinental railroad, as long as they can make both ends meet at the end, that's the important part. Jeff, do you have anything? That's it for general, so I will move for adjournment. Second?
Second.
Susan seconds, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for a good meeting, good discussions.
Well, that's at 8:20.
8:20.
I realized I didn't clarify my